Good morning, students. So today we are going to learn in detail about border molding and secondary impressions of maxilla. The mandible border molding and secondary impressions will be covered in another class. So hope you guys are okay with, or you have read about the primary impressions that was taken in last class. So now we are going to proceed with the border molding part and secondary impressions in maxilla. Okay. So making a proper primary impression is the first step in fabrication of complete dentures, as you all know. So after making the primary impression, we will obtain the primary cast. We all know that primary impression is made with the help of an impression compound material or an alginate or elastomeric impression materials, right? So after making a primary impression with one of these materials, next we will be pouring the cast, which is the primary cast, right? So the primary cast will be made with either an dental plaster or a dental stone. In this picture, you can see a primary cast that is made with dental stone. Okay. So after making the primary cast, the next step is fabrication of a special tray. So before fabrication of a special tray, we have to mark the denture or the special tray outline in the cast with the help of a pencil. And also both the posterior and also the borders of the denture is outlined and accentuated with the help of a marker or a pencil. So next, the main step that is coming next is the fabrication of special tray. So special tray fabrication is done with the help of self-cure acrylic material, or it is also called as denture based resin, which is a polymethyl methacrylate material. Okay. So with the help of this self-cure acrylic resin, we are going to fabricate the special tray. So in special tray fabrication, we have three techniques to fabricate a special tray. One is sprinkle on technique. The next is adapting technique, and the next is dow stage technique. Okay. So in this, I think the dow stage technique is the most easy technique that you can follow. That is, you have to mix both the powder and the liquid of the material, and you have to wait till it reaches the dough stage. And once it reaches the dough stage, you can manipulate the material and you can adapt it over the cast. So before placing or adapting the material over the cast, you have to apply either Vaseline or separating medium in order to remove the special tray once it is fabricated easily. Okay. So sprinkle on technique is the most common technique that we all follow, but it is time consuming. So in order to avoid a lot of time into the procedure, we can learn how to make a special tray using the dough stage technique. So that will be demo. We will show a demo to you guys while you come to the preclinical postings. We'll definitely show you a demo on how to make an special tray using sprinkle on technique or using dough technique. Okay. So using one of the techniques, like you can see in the picture, a special tray is fabricated and the borders should be beveled. And the next important step is checking overextensions. Okay. So once we fabricate a special tray, there will be a lot of overextensions which must be corrected before we go for border molding procedures. So in the sixth picture, you can see the vibrating line is marked with the help of an hematoxylin pencil. I will tell you guys how it is done. So we all know that you all have learned about anatomical landmarks, I hope. So we have the labial frenum, the labial vestibule, the buccal frenum, the buccal vestibule, the hamular notches, and also the posterior palatal seal area. So these are the different landmarks that we are going to record in an maxillary impression. So in order to find out the posterior palatal seal area, we have to use an hematoxylin pencil and also a T burnisher. The T burnisher is used to locate the posterior palatal seal area, and once you locate the posterior palatal seal area with the T burnisher, you can use a hematoxylin pencil to mark it out. Okay. So in posterior palatal seal, we have the anterior vibrating line. We also have the posterior vibrating line, and the shape of the posterior palatal seal is Cupid bow shape. So this also will be demonstrated to you guys during the clinical postings. So once the posterior palatal seal is marked in the patient's mouth, this mark should be transferred onto the special tray that you have fabricated. Once it is marked, you can place or insert the special tray into the patient's mouth, and this the marks that are made on the patient's mouth will easily get transferred onto the special tray. And with this marks, you can identify the posterior extension of the special tray, and if there is overextensions, you have to trim it out with the help of a proper metal bar. So then the extensions of the border of the special tray is trimmed and corrected. There must always be an difference of around 2 mm from the vestibule or the sulcus to the borders of the tray. So this space is provided for proper placement of the border molding material and also proper molding of the borders. The border molding produces it gives an adequate border seal for the impression material, and we will be able to properly record the denture bearing tissues or the denture bearing areas. So in order to properly record, we must give a relief of around 2 mm all around the borders of the special tray. So the 9th picture shows the tray should be short of 2 mm from the base of the sulcus, and then if it is not 2 mm short of the sulcus, the borders should be trimmed with the help of a metal bar, and we have to correct it out the extensions. So once the extensions is done, then it is again placed inside the patient's mouth and checked for clearance. Okay, if there is proper adequate clearance, we can start with the border molding procedure. Okay. So in the labial frenum area and in the buccal frenum areas, we have to give additional relief or clearance so that the movements can be properly recorded. So for border molding, we use green stick compound or the impression compound type 1. Okay, there are 2 types of impression compounds, that is type 1 and type 2. The type 1 which is available in cakes and stick forms. So for border molding, we use impression compound that is available in stick form. And the type 2 impression compound is called a stray compound, so which is not used in border molding procedures. In border molding procedures, you have to keep in mind, guys, that you have to use type 1 impression compound materials, which is available in sticks. So the impression compound material, the green stick compound, is softened over an alcohol torch or over a flame. Okay, once you show it over a flame, it becomes into soft consistency, and you have to mold it or you have to place it over the borders of the special tray, and you have to record the border molding for the patient. So there are various schools of thought as to how we can go about with the border molding procedures. Various textbooks gives various ideas on how we can go about with border molding procedure, or what are all the sequence of border molding procedures. Like few others suggest that we have to start from the labial frenum area, then we have to go for a labial vestibule, then buccal frenum, buccal vestibule, hamelar notch, and distobuccal sulcus, the hamelar notch, and then the posterior palatal seal. So this is what normally we follow, but few textbooks suggest that we can start from the distobuccal sulcus, from the hamelar notch area. You can go towards anterior area, like from distobuccal sulcus you can go for recording of buccal frenum, then buccal vestibule, buccal frenum, labial vestibule, labial frenum. So like in this opposite direction also we can go and record. So normally we follow the normal technique. We'll start from the labial side, from the labial frenum towards the posterior areas. So the green stick compound stick is heated over the alcohol torch or the flame, and it is adapted over the borders of the special tray, and then tempering is done. Tempering is done in hot water, and it is then placed in the patient's mouth, and functional and border movements is done. The functional movements is we can ask the patient to open and close his mouth. We can ask the patient to, purse his lips. These are all the various functional movements, whereas the border movements is given by the operator or operator himself. That is given by us. Okay. So the most common border movements that we use to give for recording the maxillary impression is that we will give an outward, downward, and inward movement. We'll place the special tray which is loaded with the impression compound. We'll place it inside the patient's mouth, and we'll give outward, downward, and inward movements. And also while recording the distobuccal sulcus, we'll ask the patient to move his mandible side to side. When we give side to side movement, the distobuccal sulcus will get recorded. And also to record the labial frenum, we can ask the patient to give some functional movements like pursing of his lips and other various functional movements. So then the special tray is molded, the border movements is done, and if the border movements is done properly, and if the areas is properly recorded, then it will have a proper molded surface, which is also called as a matte surface or a polished surface, and the impression compound is added to the need. So if the sulcus depth in patient's mouth is so steep, then you will have to add more material. Not only the sulcus is recorded, but the position of the muscle attachments and also the soft tissues of the oral cavity and their movements is also recorded during the border molding procedure. So in the 18th picture, you can see the compound is added in the buccal frenum area and proper recording is done. So like I said already in the last picture, the patient is asked to purse his lips to record the labial frenum. So in this picture, you can see proper molded buccal and labial borders. And then the excess impression compound is trimmed with the help of a BP blade or a carver. The carver is heated over a flame, and also you can use a carver to remove the excess impression compounds, or else you can use a BP blade with a BP handle. Then the posterior palatal seal is recorded. So I'll once again repeat the sequence. First, we will record the labial frenum. Then we will record the labial vestibule. Then we will record the buccal frenum. Then we will record the buccal vestibule. Then we will record the distobuccal sulcus, then the hameral notch area, and after this is done, we'll go with the posterior palatal seal recording. So for posterior palatal seal recording, we mainly use two methods. One is Valsalva's maneuver. We'll close the patient's nose and we will ask the patient to breathe through his or her nose. And while she is doing the same, we will give resistance while she breathes to her nose. So through this way, we can record the posterior palatal seal area, and also we can record the posterior palatal seal area by asking the patient to say ha in short, vigorous bursts. So when we ask the patient to say ha in short, vigorous bursts, also the posterior palatal seal will get recorded. Now also we can ask the patient to swallow his or her saliva while she is looking down or while she is looking his toes, where she or he is looking her toes. So these are three ways with which you can record the posterior palatal seal area. One is Valsalva's maneuver, and then next is asking the patient to say ha in short vigorous bursts, and also we can ask the patient to swallow his or her saliva by closing his mouth or his or her mouth. So the other techniques will be demonstrated to you guys when you come to the clinics directly. So for now, you just keep in mind the posterior palatal seal area is recorded with Valsalva's maneuver and also by saying ha. And like I said already, the distobuccal sulcus is recorded by asking the patient to move his mandible side to side, sideways. And the other areas are recorded with the help of proper border movements by the operator itself, by outward, downward, and inward movements. And also supporting the tray is very important while we do impression procedures. Like if we are doing the right side impression, or if we are recording the right side labial frenum, buccal frenum, labial vestibule, buccal vestibule, we have to hold the tray with our left hand. If you are a right hand operator, you can properly hold the tray with your left hand and you can do the border molding, so that the right side will be properly recorded. And also while you are recording the left side labial frenum, labial vestibule, buccal frenum, buccal vestibule, you can hold the tray into position with the help of your right hand, and you can use your left hand to do the border movements. So positioning of the tray is very, very important while recording the border molding procedures. And also, like how you see in the picture 21, while recording the labial frenum, you can support the impression, the special tray with your middle fingers of both of your hands, and you can use your index finger and your thumb finger to record the labial frenum. Okay. And once the border molding is done, again, like I said, the excess is trimmed off. And then we have to make arrangements for making a secondary impression with zinc oxide eugenol impression paste. Okay. So now the border molding is completed. The tray is checked for any overextensions or any overhanging green stick compound material. All is removed and it's properly corrected. And then in the posterior palatal seal area, the junction of the tray and the impression compound is properly smoothened. And then in the picture 26, we can see the finished border molding special tray. The finished border molded maxillary custom tray. Okay. And we can give some clearance for the frenum also. So the secondary impression is mainly taken with the help of zinc oxide eugenol impression paste for beginners, especially for fine layers and for the interns. We will we will be taking secondary impression with zinc oxide regional impression paste, but there are we can also use other materials for taking secondary impression. We have light body impression, elastomeric impression materials also. There are various other materials which will be demonstrated to you during the clinical hours. Okay, but for your practicals, you will be using zinc oxide regional impression material for your secondary impressions. So I think you guys know the manipulation of zinc oxide regional impression paste. We have already demonstrated during our preclinicals, and I think you guys are all used to using an zinc oxide regional impression paste. So as we all know, equal amount of paste, both the base paste and the catalyst paste is taken in a glass slab, and we use a mixing spatula and we mix it into an uniform consistency in circular motion. Okay, and till we get an uniform consistency and till we obtain a single color, we will be manipulating or mixing the zinc oxide regional impression paste. And once it is done, the zinc oxide regional impression paste is loaded onto the tray and it is properly spread over the denture bearing surfaces in the special tray, and it is loaded onto the patient's mouth. And once it is loaded onto the patient's mouth, proper border movements and functional movements are made to properly record the areas in the oral cavity. So what are all the movements or functional movements or border movements that you used for the border molding procedure? All the same movements and functional movements are given all together inside the patient's mouth during the secondary impression, during while we take the secondary impression also. So the secondary impression is also called as final impression, or also it is called as wash impression. And proper secondary impression is essential for proper denture retention and also proper shape or the thick. Like if we properly record the border molding and the secondary impression, the denture flanges will be in adequate thickness when we get the final denture. So this is a very important step or procedure. So the border molding and secondary impression is one of the main steps in fabrication of a complete denture. So the border molding and secondary impression for mandible will be taken in the next class. So you guys come ready with the theory part. We'll be asking questions in between. It is going to be an interactive session. So you guys be ready and kindly read what is taken today from your textbooks, and also come and read and come the mandibular border molding and secondary impressions, which we are going to discuss on next class. And also this procedures will be definitely demonstrated for you guys in clinics. Okay, so thank you so much guys. See you all in next class. So this is a completed maxillary final impression, and thank you.